So if we're talking about reinforcement, if we're talking about automation, if we're talking about software for the precast industry, this is everything under the umbrella of the Progress Group. And this, the sole purpose of the company is going into this direction. Through this, we also have a company motto. We really want to sustainably change the way people live worldwide and increase their living conditions. This is what we want to do.
Welcome everybody, Dave Cooper. We are in Brixen, Italy, South Tyrol region, and I am standing at the Progress Group's headquarters. And with me is Bernard Leitner from the Progress Group in Green Code.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you very much for being here. It is an honor that I have the opportunity to talk to such a wide audience. Just a little bit about myself and my person, a little bit about the Progress Group and what we are doing here. As you said, my name is Bernhard Leitner. I am the general manager of the company Green Code, and we are within the Progress Group of companies, the subsidiary which is mainly tasked with developing the building system, with moving forward with evolving the building industry, currently mainly focused on the European market, the Central European market, increasingly also internationally. I want to show you a little bit of what we are doing and what the system is that we're trying to promote and what we are doing here.
How long have you been in this industry?
Me personally, I was working in the software industry and then transferred into the CAD part, and since 2018 I'm part of the Progress Group and I'm also general manager of the company Green Code, and I've been developing it together with partners here in the center of Europe to grow the system and getting it up the ground.
Progress Group. Tell us a little bit about, overall, who is the Progress Group and, what do they do and who do they serve?
So Progress Group is foremost a machinery developer and a machinery production company. We service the precast industry and are 100% dedicated to the automated precast industry. So if we're talking about reinforcement, if we're talking about automation, if we're talking about software for the precast industry, this is everything under the umbrella of the Progress Group. And this, the sole purpose of the company is going into this direction. Through this, we also have a company motto. We really want to sustainably change the way people live worldwide and increase their living conditions. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to achieve. So the Progress Group is focused on machinery and software, and my part within the Green Code, we're focused on developing the building system, promoting it, and educating the people to use it and how to fabricate it.
For everybody out there, one, it's an understatement about automating in the factory, and I'm looking forward to show everybody what this factory is actually looking like. But before we get further into the automation, what Green Code is doing, the way I'm understanding it, is really taking a look at how the processes are working now, how the world is changing from a sustainability perspective, an environmental perspective, and you're really tasked with taking the products to another level, yes?
Yes, the limitation of systems, how they can grow is actually quite wide. People are generally resisting any change. This is what my experience is. Yeah. So it's quite hard to change it, but once the ball gets rolling, then you can move on forward. And as we know, the challenges are quite big. The rising temperatures, the rising CO2 levels. So we really need to have a look where we can generate impact in the construction industry, how we produce, how we manufacture the elements or buildings. This is just a huge factor how we can reduce the CO2 impact or the overall impact of our industry.
So Progress Group is all around the world. How many employees do you have now?
Currently we have around 800 employees worldwide. We have offices in Canada, we have a representative office in the United States in Chicago. Then we have several production locations in Europe, in Belgium, in Germany, Italy. Here is our headquarters in Brixen in South Tyrol. And then we have service centers and small production facilities in Asia, in India mainly, and a service center in Kuala Lumpur and China.
The culture here has been amazing, right? Watching the people work, watching everybody interact. The food at the cafeteria was amazing. I just have to say, if you ever come here, come for the food. But on top of that, you guys have core values that you follow here, right? That you were saying, there's 10 values that people really have to believe in and buy into the company. How important are those values and culture to the growth of the business here?
The values are the core reason why we were able to grow so quickly. The thing is that we set together our ownership, our senior management, even down to the middle management, and even the regular employees were involved in this process in elaborating the core values of the company. I mean, these are regular values like client is king, we want to sustainable development, be honest to each other, be open, communicative together. So we defined these values, and through this we were able to grow as a company, but also to provide better service to our clients. This is the core idea. We want to have the best service available for our clients.
You know, going back, from when the company started, I mean, you have employees that have been here a long time. There was one person on the production floor. Now it's automated too, right? So you get the longevity of the workers because of the automation that was in his 60s. But then with all the technology that you're bringing in, we'll get into that soon here as well, you're bringing in the younger generation. So you have the older generation, the younger generation, and then you have technology. It feels like it's a great place for people to come and work.
We do not discriminate against age. I mean, the silver agers are going to be the workforce of the future.
Right.
The thing is that we do have people in their 60s still on their workshop floor, still working, still integrated into the workforce and productively working, but especially in our software part, and the software part is the major growing part within our group of companies. I would say that every fourth person in our group of companies has some kind of software related job or software development related job currently, and those people are quite young, so they are in their 20s or early 30s.
For sure, for sure. Let's talk about where Progress Group got its start at, right? You started, and we have on the floor here an example of the wall system. Walk us through what the initial product was, and then let's start talking about where we're headed.
Okay, the system that we are promoting is a semi-prefabricated system. It started in the late 70s, beginning of the 80s, somewhere in Germany, France, Austria. This is where the system started. It started with the half slab, and it moved on to the double wall. The double wall, as you can see here on our ground floor model, is mainly used in basement construction. I would say that 4/5 of every basement in Europe is being done with a double wall, or a very huge amount of basements is done with a double wall, just because of the easy way of doing it, the quick turnaround, and the metal smooth surface on both sides. This is where it came from, but it was limited to the basement construction. The thing is, this is a very easy and very good construction, but you still need to put on external insulation or facade cladding if you want to have it looking nice.
Yeah, for sure. So, and the accuracy of it, right? For a foundation system, what's the tolerances on a wall system?
In our factory, and we will see later on, we are talking about the tolerances in millimeters, so in 16ths of an inch ranges. We are really talking into millimeters. Then we are delivering on site. The ranges is then rather going bigger. It goes up to half an inch or to an inch. So we, in terms of tolerances, we can produce a lot higher quality than the construction site can actually produce or can handle. This is the issue often.
Is it residential and commercial projects?
I would say it's a good mix. Around 25% of the whole construction in Europe is done with concrete prefabricated elements, and there is a good mix. It really depends on the local market. Here in South Tyrol, we have a lot of office buildings and production halls which are being done in the system, and where you can see a lot of references, also a lot of wineries.
Yeah, a lot of wineries.
You know how it is. The first person wants to have a very nice office building, then the next one wants to have an even nicer one, and just to showcase it. This is how it develops. In Austria, in Germany, in the Eastern European countries, here the residential part is a lot more up and coming. Why? Because they have a lot of residential buildings still to be done.
There's a big housing need and affordable housing need, and you look to be part of that affordable housing.
Yes, affordable housing is the name of the future, but it's, I don't want to say that we have bad quality affordable housing. It's affordable housing to a reasonable price, but a very, very high level of quality that can be achieved there.
Sure. So we're going to walk through some of the products here, and I want it to be known that not only do you develop design and manufacture the products. You build a brand new building using all the components that the Progress Group has come up with, the modular building across the street. If for any reason you're in this area, you need to just come and check it out. It's beautiful. But you've integrated a lot of the technology into that new building.
We didn't develop the elements by ourselves. This was an industry issue, and there were a lot of minds involved in this. But what we try with Green Code is put as much technology, but as much building services into the building components, just to have an even higher prefabrication rate. Right. This is the important part.
So when we talk about Green Code and you say, all right, well, we have concrete wall structures, and then you talk about technology, a lot of people probably go, what? How do you include technology? So why don't we look at some of the things we've been working on here?
I think this is the basic walling model that we're looking at. So we have two prefabricated metal smooth layers which are connected with a reinforcement girder. And a plastic distancer, just to set the distance right. As I said before, this is mainly used with partition walls or with basement walls. Why? Because in Europe we have very high regulations in terms of insulating our buildings. Therefore, this is mainly used in internal parts and in basement construction.
So what we're looking at here is the exterior finishable wall, interior. This has a really nice smooth finish and a kind of a mitered edge on the side. And then we're going to fill this with the concrete. Yes. Right? This is going to be the core that fills the concrete, the rebar, and these connector pieces kind of keep the distance and hold it tight because the concrete weighs a lot when it goes in. You vibrate it into place, and then you have a solid monolithic structure.
Yes, it connects together with the slab. So the slab would be placed on top of here. Then you would pour concrete top of it.
That's right.
And together with the connection reinforcement that you place on site, you then have a monolithic building structure which is very rigid. And the major benefit of this is the mass. In terms of the mass, the building has a lot of mass. And therefore the heating and cooling can really be slow. And you do not need to put a lot of energy into the system to keep it at a very nice temperature.
Yeah, if you have a basement out there, go in your basement. It always is nice and cool in a basement, and the houses in the States for sure, or walk in a cave, and that's kind of the same effect we get. Something to point out before we go through all this other stuff. How many people actually touch this system by hand while it's being made?
Let's start really at the beginning. Usually what we get, or what our clients get, is drawings, architectural drawings. Then this is part of the Eurocode, so everything is coded. Then the redesign, structural redesign is quite easy. What then our people here, one floor above us, is doing is creating workshop drawings to create production data, which is then sent to the production. And then on the production hall, we only have 5 to 7 people actually producing those elements. So in terms of the value chain, a lot of the work is done in the office, in designing, in preparing the elements, and also the knowledge is there. And then the production is actually quite automated and easy.
So that's it. And the 5 to 6 people are really just monitoring and making sure everything's running smoothly in the production. So the way these are made, and I mean, it's amazing. Wait until you see all of that. But I want everybody to understand, it's not just production of these walls. In the Green Code, it's the technology and the end-to-end solution that you're providing and making it easy for the designer, engineers, and architects to work with your team, yes?
Yes, because what you see here is just a naked wall. You don't see the technology that can be inside. Talking about electrical sockets, all MEP engineering, everything can be integrated either in the factory or then on-site into the walls very easily, just to make it quick and production friendly.
That's right.
And as I said before, the insulation is a very, very huge part. So from this, we moved to the next system. This is something we call the thermal wall. Basically, it's the same thing. 2 major differences. One, there is insulation inside, and the connector is not a reinforcement connector, but it's connected by our own GFRC pin, which goes through the elements. This is an own development of our side, and which hinders the heat transfer. So there is no cold bridge, no cold is coming through it. If you would have reinforcement, you would get condensation inside. So with this, you don't
So it's a thermal break.
Yeah.
It's a thermal break. So if it's on the outside wall, the cold's only going so far and dying off, and then it gets to the inside temperature.
Yes, and everything is held by this. So this is an outside free hanging layer.
Yeah.
So everything is hanging on the pins and the tubes that we will see later on the production
Well,
side.
those are not, what are they, fiberglass?
They are glass fiber reinforced.
Glass fiber reinforced tubes.
Pins.
Now, is this system automated as well?
This system is also automated. There is a little bit more handwork. Why? Because here we are talking about facades. And facades always means nice, very, very nice optics. And here the opportunities are just whatever you want to have. From colored concrete to foam liners to polished concrete, everything the client wants to have, we can provide it for him. It's just a matter of pricing, a matter of availability, or a matter of what details he wants to have.
So, and the facade is so important, right? It's the finished product, and you're taking something very industrial like concrete and really making it beautiful. And I'm not just talking about a finish. I'm talking about Marilyn Monroe etched in the side of, big, 30, 40 foot wall panels that's permanently there, or even the texture. When we look at some of the textures around the office, and maybe you can walk us through that, because when you say unlimited, it really is unlimited.
Yeah, it's really always just a question of what you want to do. In terms, the first question is what kind of concrete you want to have. Do you want to have regular gray concrete or colored concrete? This is the first question that any client needs to answer. Or marble, we come to this later on. So this is the first question. What we always do is we put an hydrophobic agent at the end on our concrete facades just to keep them covered and keep them whole for a long period of time. So this is the first question that you have to answer. The next question is then foam liner. Foam liner can be anything, any shape, form you want to have. Do you want to have waves? Do you want to have looking like natural stone over there, travertine? Or anything that you want to have. This is then created with the foam liner. Then since 3 years, we are also in the polishing business. So we are polishing elements. This can be done with our regular concrete or with what you see on our headquarters, or is the polished white concrete with marble aggregates, putting inside, giving it that extra sheen. Or you can go into hammered facades, you can go into sand-washed facades. Every possibilities there are limitless. It's just you have to decide what you want.
Think about this, right? So if you're building a building, whether it's a residential home or a commercial structure, one side could be a nice smooth finish on the interior of your home, or it could have a texture if you like it, or a picture, but the outside of it can be as well. So the wall really can be the facade and the finished interior all at one time, which is a big cost savings.
It can be. Usually what we do on the inside, if you're talking about you have a very high class architectural facade on the outside, on the inside, most people, we have done it in on-site concrete as well, but most people want to have it white. This is the standard white. And there the major benefit is that you do not need to plaster the whole wall. You just need to, what we call Spachtel in German. You plaster the 10 centimeters where the joint of the element is, and then you cover everything with white paint, and then you're finished.
I'm keeping mine just like your office. If you build me one, I think it's absolutely beautiful the way it's done. All right, so perfect. So technology-wise, right? We should start talking about the technology. We should start showcasing like some of the panels we're doing here, because, and we're going to look at this, you're not only mentioning that you can put in full MEPs, you can put in the wiring, you can put in the spacing, right, for the lights.
Yes.
But you're doing also climatic ceilings and
this is what we do with our ceiling elements or slab elements. I think that we can have to move then to the next part over here.